So we're going to get started, ladies. So good evening, and thank you for joining us tonight for a very special Face It Live Q&A special presented by Fayette County Public Schools in the 16th District PTA. And of course, during this time, it is most important that our families and community engage together and support each other.
Yes, the Face It platform allows us to virtually have real talk, build real relationships and partnerships, and allow real ways for us to express what we're feeling, exert our energy in a positive way, and be solution-driven in our approach to whatever we're facing in our communities. Good evening, everyone watching. I'm Sharika Smith. I work in the Department of Student Support.
She's awesome.
You're awesome.
I'm Melody Westerfield. I'm the FACE, the Family and Community Engagement Coordinator, and I'm stationed at William Wills Brown. And this week, the FACE topic will be focused on facing testing season together. I just made that up too, just to let you all know. We have some very, very special guests with us to talk about testing season for our Fayette County Public Schools students and families. And so I'm going to introduce Dr. Brooke Stinson. I hope I said your name right. Go ahead and intro yourself and tell the people what you do and your organization.
Definitely. Well, good evening. Thank you for this opportunity to be here and to speak to you all tonight and share with you the ideas around testing and assessment, especially the last couple of weeks of school. But I'm Dr. Brooke Stinson, and I am the District Assessment Coordinator. I'm also the Interim Associate Director of Assessment Literacy. So all assessments, state and district, local assessments, pass through my department, and we deploy the assessments to all of our schools and provide support for all your students and for you as parents and families and community members out there on what the data is telling you and how to analyze it. So thank you for allowing me to have this opportunity to talk to you tonight.
Absolutely, Brooke, and I'm going to probably talk to you some more in detail about what you do. We also have Amber with us tonight. Amber, go ahead and intro yourself. Tell us who you are and what you do, your organization.
Awesome. Hi, families. Again, I'm so glad to be here with Brooke. So that's pretty awesome. My name is Amber Cron. I am actually the Child Guidance Specialist and Building Assessment Coordinator at Russell Cave Elementary. I'm in my 17th year there. So I'm pretty seasoned as a Building Assessment Coordinator, and I'm excited to kind of share with you what I know.
Absolutely. Thank you both for being here tonight.
Both of you may have been handpicked. You got lots of years and lots of talent and lots of knowledge, especially around testing. So we're so excited to have you both. All right. I think we should kind of just start from the beginning, Melody. What do you think?
Absolutely. Right from the top.
All right. Right from the top. What tests do my child have to take around this time of year? What do they even have to take right now?
Well, I think, as you all know, we are in the middle of K-Prep, and K-Prep is our state assessment that measures how well your child understands the core content that's being taught by the teachers. It's a little different this year because some of our remote kids, of course, don't have to take it if they choose not to, and it won't be penalized again. And it's a different accountability this year, but K-Prep is what we're in right now. But I would say our parents are probably most familiar with MAP because they had to help this year. MAP was given virtually throughout the entire district. So I know I had a lot of parents going, I'm not allowed to help. Can I help? Do I log them in? Right. I had a lot of messages going that time. So I think they got a kind of idea for our universal screener MAP that kind of tells us where their child is performing throughout the year and measures their growth.
Absolutely. Brooke, you want to add anything to that?
Yes, definitely. Thank you. So MAP and K-Prep, it's, K-Prep, like Amber said, is that end of the year. It's that final assessment before we release your children, into the summer time. But we always start the year off with Brigance Kindergarten Screener. So your our newest students to Fayette County Public Schools, they take a screener in the first couple weeks of school. And we actually just completed that Brigance Kindergarten Screener this year. So a little different for our kindergarten families, but we had to administer that because it's a state requirement. Of course, K-Prep alternate K-Prep for some students to complete. We also have our English language proficiency exam that's finishing up actually tomorrow for all of our EL students in the district. And our 10th and 11th graders just completed their ACT in the last couple of weeks of their college and career readiness test. And then we also, one of the final exams that our graduates take before they leave us here in our district, in our community, is the civics exam. And it's a test that it's a requirement that they have to pass in order to graduate from one of our high schools, and really all the way across the Commonwealth. It's a civics exam, and they can begin taking it actually in 9th grade. So you might hear your students taking that exam maybe in 9th, 10th grade, and that's great, but they really don't have to take it until the day before they graduate to less that final requirement.
Got you. So Brooke, what are they going to do with the scores?
Great question, Melody. So especially with this year, when we're thinking about the state assessment and K-Prep, of course, we have to test the standards. We have to know where our students are at with the college and career readiness standards and how they're doing, not just within Kentucky, but within the United States, and then even in the world. So we will get scores back in about late September, mid to late October. And as soon as we get these scores back, we give them to our families. We have parent-teacher conferences. We might have student-led conferences, and we have those times where we can share out how your child did. So even though our accountability has been waived this year, and so it's not necessarily, we're not necessarily not required to take K-Prep, but we're taking it because we need to test the standards. So it's still an important assessment, and we still will get that performance level on how your child's doing on their grade level standards compared to their other peers. So still very important information.
Yeah, really can see where you're at. Yeah. Thank you.
Yeah, I'm glad you said that, Dr. Stinson, because I've heard a lot of parents, and I may have asked this myself. I don't even have kids, but I was like, well, why are we even taking it if it's not going to count,
Right.
So I'm glad you elaborated on that.
Well, and I know, at least at our school, we do a lot of breaking down of who doesn't know what, and we can put them in individual groups and make sure that their small groups reflect what they need to learn or what skills that they need to be retaught. So I know we do a lot of breakdown of the data in both MAP as well as K-Prep to see what they have mastered and what they still need help with.
Amber, I love that you brought up MAP because even our MAP data and even some of our students out there and families out there might have heard Galileo being tossed around this year. And we're actually taking both MAP and Galileo and looking at providing other supports for all of our students in our district for Summer Ignite, which is our brand new summer program. And we're actually taking that data to see where they started in Summer Ignite. So if your child has opportunity or experience to be in our summer learning program, that is awesome. We have the data, and then we're also going to use then their fall MAP and Galileo data to see how well they did in that summer 2 to 3 week time, intense instruction, but also fun, innovative, accelerating their learning. And so we're so excited to be offering Summer Ignite to all of our families across the district.
Good.
Absolutely. It's such project-based learning, so I love that it's going to look different.
Absolutely. So what tips do you have to help prepare for, all that you're talking, MAPS, Galileo, all of K-Prep? How do people prepare? How do parents prepare, the kids prepare? Yeah.
I think the biggest thing that our parents and families can do in our community is have an open line of communication with your school and really have that transparency where you're talking that two-way communication. If you have any type of concern, our schools and our district are here to help you and support you. I mean, no question is too silly because we love your babies and we want to support their needs, especially in this pandemic that we are still in every single day. And so we want to provide those supports. So if there's anything with data or a test that they're going to take, we want to help you. So I think having that open line communication, I also think making sure that your kiddos are getting enough rest and play as well. I mean, there's always that balance between working hard and playing hard. So that balance of sleep and rest and just knowing where their child's at and ready to ask questions with us and being that partner that we all want to be.
I'm glad you threw in some playtime because after all, they still are kids. So, the fact that you want to look out for their, the happy part of their emotions speaks highly. Brooke, did you have anything to add? Brooke.
I got you. I got you. It's fine. You know what? I would be honored to be Brooke Stinson. I'm just throwing that out there. So the only thing I add is screen time. A lot of our babies have come in a little sleepy and I've been on my phone. I've been playing Among Us, Minecraft with the friend. Put the electronics away,
Right.
make it a set time that electronics are done. And then parents, I know that it's hard to get into the dentist and the doctor and all the appointments, but if you could just manage to do it after school hours or before school hours, or check and say, hey, what hours are my kids testing? That would be great. I know at my school, we send out a little pamphlet. We're going to be testing between these hours. So anytime after here, you should be good to go. So just to make sure.
Real quick, Amber, what if you get that child that's like really anxious about testing?
Sure. Well, and test anxiety is one of my specialties. I'll share a little secret, and I don't know if I should put this out here. Clearly, my dog is enjoying some squeaker toys she's found. I thought I put them all up. It actually took me 7 times to pass my teaching exam. And I'm not afraid to say that. I share that with my students a lot. So I say, just kind of going in and realizing that frustration, the nauseousness, the worried feeling is normal and it's okay. And there's so many people there to help you. So just take a deep breath, kind of skim over it so you know what to expect. Also, if you need a minute, it's okay. You can take that minute and say, I need a minute. I need to calm down. I need to take a walk, get some water, something like that. But really just making sure that you find that place inside you that you feel good. So a lot of times if my kids I had one that the math was just really hard. So just a little pep talk of, it's hard because you're so smart. And him going, I am. And I'm like, yeah, buddy, you are. But just like, you've got this. This one may be hard and you may have to guess on it, but that's okay because you're going to kill the next one. You got this. So just a little bit of building up and saying it's okay. We all get it. We all feel
absolutely.
That way.
Absolutely. Even in adulthood. And Amber, thank you for being transparent. That is exactly what our parents need to hear and feel. So thank you for being transparent. Sharika, I'm done. I'm sorry.
I piggyback real quick on what Amber said. I think one of the things I would love for our families and community to know is, we think about K-Prep and we think of testing like a whole entire week or all day long. One of the things that our State Department and even our United States Education Department has created some flexibility with testing. So no longer are we testing all day long for hours on end. It's shorter. So instead of maybe 30 questions, our kiddos are now testing 10 questions. And there's built-in breaks as well during the tests. So it's short snippets of time where we're just really testing their knowledge on what they've learned all year long with our wonderful teachers and classrooms and all the activities they've done. And then also, I think is key this year is that the State Department's created a perception survey. So they're really asking the opinion of all of our students, 3rd through 11th, who take K-Prep on, how they feel about school. Do they feel safe? Do they have a trusted adult? Do they think, their school is clean? Do they have pride in their classroom and in their teachers? And, I just was talking about that. It just gave me chills thinking about that because I'm a parent as well with 2 children growing up in Fayette County, and I want them to have pride and respect of their school and their teachers. And so I think that's great. Not only are we testing standards, but we're also wanting to know how our children really feel about coming to school each and every day.
Well, thank you for that. I was able to read that, provide an accommodation of a reader on that survey. And it was very interesting to watch, with that. I couldn't tell you what question at this point, but to watch as I went through and I thought, you know what, this kid feels comfortable enough right now that I know he's answering honestly, because there were some that he was like, strongly disagree. And I thought in my head, I need to make a mental note of this without getting a testing allegation, but that's something we need to work on as a school.
Right.
And the fact that they do feel comfortable enough to say that, and that was really great. That was really great to see.
Thank you.
So speaking of accommodations, that actually leads us to the next question. So what if my child has an IEP? What if my child has a 504? Do they still get those accommodations for testing?
Well, I'll start with that because we have several students that our school is a high ESL population. So when Brooke talked about the access test, that's bigger for us than any other test that we give. The majority of my students are ESL students. And so a lot of students have accommodations at my school. And that is one thing that absolutely, yes, accommodations are meant to level the playing field. It doesn't give anybody an up. It doesn't give anybody, the answers, and it doesn't replace any type of learning or high quality education. What it does is it just levels the playing field. But the key thing that I remind my teachers, as well as my students, this is something you've learned all year long and you've used all year long. It's not something that's new that says, okay, for this test, you get this. And here's surprise, you got to figure out how to learn and use with it. But it's something that they've done all year long for everything. So, and it's nice to see. And I also am blessed enough to see my kids start to fade out their accommodations. So that's kind of exciting to see too.
Yeah. They utilize, I'm at William Wells Brown, and of course they utilize the entire building to, lock down different places and just, give that I guess available space for the necessary students. So yeah, I definitely saw that present in our school this year. So in that spirit, Amber, what are you doing with the virtual students? How are they taking tests?
I'm not gonna lie, that has been a challenge for me. That was a new role. So I'm always learning. I'm an everyday learner and I love that. But virtually for math, what we did was math's the only one that they've been given virtual except for Galileo as well. So we have been requiring Zoom, and I know that's really hard to require the camera on, but try to ensure that, no answers are being given or no extra help. But the accommodations are still there if they need it. Our students from day one have been given everything that they need to be successful on an exam. So when I called Brooke the other day and I said, hey, I just need to make sure this is able to be used. They've used it all year long as a manipulative, and they have this on their test, but it's different than normal because normally it would be plastic. This one's like a man-made. And she's like, you're good. And I was like, okay, great. Just want to make sure. But so they've had them all year long. So they've been able to apply the accommodations virtually too, which was kind of cool to see. But, I just try to reiterate to the parents, at least for now for K-Prep, it's not required, but we would really love for them to come in because next year we want to know how to meet them where they are. We want to see what it is. I understand that it's still a little scary, and I get that. But if you're willing to, I can't wait to see them. There'll be breakfast if they're coming in the morning, lunch if they're coming in the afternoon. I have treats for them, whatever you may need to make sure that they feel comfortable. But virtual has been a little bit different, but we're rolling through it.
Virtual is virtual. That's virtual is virtual. Dr. Stinson, do you have anything to add?
Definitely. Well, one thing I think with the times that we're in and technology, and our students are very tech savvy, and they know, an online assessment to them, it's just like second nature. Right. And so I think they feel comfortable, even like this year, even though we can't do a lot of things virtually, online testing is there. There's very few assessments that we take within the district and even state that are still paper pencil. I think there was one so far this year that we've taken, and I believe that next year will also be online. So there's a difference between online and something being virtual. So if something's online, we still need to have a certified test proctor who's gone through training of just making sure that they're having a secure testing environment, that there's no jeopardy of possible, testing materials being out. And so they're following all the rules and procedures to ensure that, that leveled playing field, that someone does not receive something more than someone else. So we really got to keep that lens, in the forefront. But so making sure that all of our students are comfortable online. I know that one of the things that was brought up recently by even a principal, one of our principals, was that their child or their children, their students, just typing. So keyboarding skills, and having to type an answer instead of handwriting it out, they're gonna have to type. So we're gonna embed those type of elements as we move into next school year, making sure that our children have those opportunities for keyboarding and typing. When I was in high school, we were on a typewriter and we had to type so many words per minute, I hope some families out there, are, shaking their heads with me going, oh yeah, I was there too. But now with everything online, we have to learn to type or to, on the keyboard and everything. So we're providing those supports. And then also I do want to ensure with our families that with all of this data we're taking, we are making sure that your children are accelerating in their learning. So we're not leaving any child behind. We're moving them forward and accelerating that learning and that in the standards and within their grade level with all types of supports throughout the day, with all needs, and then making sure that program evaluation also is in there to make sure everything is where it should be in the schools.
Yeah, it's a good point. It's a good point. Thank you for that. Thank you.
Well, and like Brooke said, I think one of the big thing was our teachers are seeing it too, as they're actively proctoring around the classrooms. They're going, we got to do more online, like extended responses, things like that.
Right.
They're great at writing them, but for elementary, typing them is a big challenge.
Absolutely.
Yeah, I can see
And they're
that.
not really showing what they know. So they're like, all right, next year, here's what they're already talking about next year. Here's what I'm going to do different. So our kids are ready even more. And
Yeah, I can
that's
see them
been awesome to
implementing it.
see.
Yeah.
That's a good implement. I think that's needed. Yeah. Good.
So our kids take all these tests, they prepare, they come, they get the snacks, they do all this good stuff. When are the test scores released? When do parents and students get to know how did I do on these tests that we have to take?
Well, for district assessments or anything within the classroom, it's within hours that we know how well your child did.
Really?
And so so it's pretty fast. And then of course sharing that out with you as parents and community members, how we're doing. And then for our state assessments like a Bergantz or kindergarten screener or even our K-Prep, which is the end of the year test, it will be early fall that we'll get those results. And of course, as soon as we get them, we will share with you. So even though we don't have 100% of all of our students back in the buildings with us because a lot of them are still remote, and that's fine, that that's the choice that they're making right now, and we completely understand. We have encouraged them to come in and take the test, but if they still don't feel comfortable, no problem. We still have enough data on them to help them accelerate their learning. But so the students that are in, we will still get a test score based on those standards, and we'll use that data to, look at instructional programs, activities we're doing, how well a school's doing, how well our district's doing.
Yeah.
So as soon as we get that data, we will definitely share out with you as families and community on we're doing, and along with that survey that your students are also, sharing out about their perception of their school. We'll share that as well.
Thank you. I'm assuming, Amber, your answer is a mirror to what Brooke is saying.
Absolutely, but I can talk to like the map immediately. We celebrate as soon as the score is up. You met your growth goal, you're proficient for your grade level. So our parents have learned that lingo coming home. They met their growth goal. So that's one step. And then 2, they are on grade level. Well, if they didn't hit that grade level mark, how many points are they behind? So that is something that with us celebrating right then, right there, our parents are really taking on and starting to have that conversation with us as well as with their students. Hey, how'd you do today? Did you meet your growth goal? Did you meet proficiency? So that's been something that's been very great for us, at least at the elementary level. But it is a little harder waiting for those fall assessments because our kids get those map scores and they're like, yeah. And then they're like, they submit it today and they're like, what'd I get? And I'm like,
right.
We'll find out soon.
Right. Not soon enough. That's good. That is so good. Okay. So to wrap up the show, this show and this platform was built because this is different. This is all different for us all. But we want to stay connected. Talk to us on your end. Talk to us quickly about how this is different for you all. Considering. I'm going to say Dr. Stinson, if you want to go first, and then Amber right behind her.
I think this is different in many ways, but it's also, I also think with some of the silver linings the pandemic has shown us over the last year, 13, 14 months, is that we're able to change things we've done in the past that maybe aren't working well. And so some of those positives might be testing online, really reaching our students where they're at. So yes, they're becoming more tech savvy than we are, as adults. And so we're really meeting them halfway with those needs. And so I'm really, I think there was a positive mood on our State Department as well as our, federal government as well. But just know that the data and the tests that your students are taking, your children are taking, we will share that data with you. And if there's ever a question, reach out to your school teacher, the teacher, the school, the principal, myself at the district office. We're here to help you. And yes, times are different, but I also think it's also a good time to make some changes. These changes are within the assessment world, and just seeing we're meeting our students where they're at and accelerating that learning. And just like the supports of Summer Ignite, that's a little different this year, but we're excited about the opportunities that we're going to give all of our students.
Yeah, you make a great point, and kudos to the state and federal government for pivoting. That's been a word.
Like that,
Amber.
Well, she hit she hit all the assessment parts. So I'm going to go more like the counseling realm.
Okay.
Just being able to meet all of their needs, provide them the technology. Fayette County did a great job making sure we could get one-to-one devices for the majority of our kids if they needed them, hotspots, etc. We would troubleshoot. They would walk us through. I think I'm part of now the tech department. I'm not real sure. They say no, but I really think I am. But just being able to do that, as well as our teachers really had to make that change and create that classroom community and that sense of a belonging virtually.
Yeah.
So to watch it transpire and to transfer back into the classroom and see how much love they had for their teachers to see them in person, it just created an even healthier school environment. So it really, the changes have been great for us.
Yeah.
And I think if you ask some of my teachers, they're like, can we start kindergarten virtually? I know it sounds weird, but man, do they know all these things that it would have taken us months to do.
Yeah.
So the changes have been great. And I love the fact that they've had to see it and go through it as much as it also has broke our hearts to not love on them from day one. But it really has opened everybody's eyes, I think, in a different lens. And I think everybody has grown from this.
Yeah, it's given us it's given me a sense. I really have seen the sense of community. But this has been a great session, guys. And Sharika, I feel like I dominated the talking session this time.
Honey, I'm the co-host. You're the host. I'm the co-host.
I would really like to thank you all for out there who's watching. Thank you all for joining us tonight. Thank our guest speakers. Thank you for coming on and giving us this information. Everybody, thank you for joining us as we do our Face It Live show. We would like to stay connected with you all the time and continuously and build a stronger community of support for our families. And Sharika is going to tell us how we can do that.
Yes. So please send us your pictures, your videos, any words of encouragement that we can share with each other about how you're facing it together at home. We will highlight those on our Facebook page. I usually have a fancy slide to go with this, but I don't tonight. But that's all right. So we actually have a new format of how you can just participate. We want to know what else you want to hear on this show. We can give the topics, because we think y'all want to hear us talk. But we also want you all to tell us, what do you have questions about? What do you want to maybe see on the show? Who do you want to see on the show? Some guest speakers. So I'm going to pull up a nice little fancy QR code. Drum roll, please. Let's see if that works.
There you go.
Yes. All right. So parents, anyone watching, if you open your camera app on your phone and just highlight over that QR code, it will take you to a survey. We want you all to take a few minutes, answer the survey, the questions on there. That way we know what you want to see on this show. So thank you all so much for doing that. I'll leave it on there for just a couple more seconds.
Awesome. Yes, just put your phone right above that and survey away. And so listen, next week, not next week, couple of weeks from now, May 20th at 6:30, same time, Face It. We are here. The college and career coaches are here, and they're going to provide career conversations. So those of you who are ready to embark on your career in life, they'll be here to help you and guide you along the way. Again, as always, we love staying connected with you and we'll continue to face it together. See you all soon.
Thank you all.
Bye.